tell me what to do. I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction cause you hold the power.
Hi there. We need to have a talk. Yes, I know, that phrase usually doesn't end with everyone being a happy camper. But trust me on this one. This talk could actually turn your life around. We live in a world where social media shows us we're all complete losers and only the new fad on TikTok or Instagram people are the ones doing it right. Of course, that's not true, and it's always a very dangerous mindset to have. So whenever you see these people who seem to earn millions in a day and spending like drunken sailors, just keep scrolling. It's not for you. And to ground yourself, maybe read some of Morgan Housel's books. The Psychology of Money, or Same as Ever, or maybe watch my video on the book. That's a lot faster and told by Morgan himself. Well, ask yourself, will it make me happy to run around spending like there's no tomorrow?
Well, duh.
Well, yeah. In a short period, yes, it would be very fun to try. But in the long term, it's actually not as great as the videos show. And why are you doing it? To learn other cultures, to signal to others that you're rich? I had a job where I was traveling the world, and I thought staying at all the great hotels, eating at the most expensive restaurants, and just enjoying myself was the ultimate life. I was so wrong. One day I woke up in a hotel room, and I actually couldn't remember what city or even what country I was in. What was I supposed to do here? I realized that this was actually very stressful and not a purpose in life that I wanted. When my first child was born, my eyes were opened and I realized my real purpose in life. A family and making the world a better place. And by instilling great values in my children and hopefully their children, creating a legacy for the future. And try helping others reach the same conclusion. Hence this channel. And again, the point of this video is meant to help you to think about your purpose, to help reach financial freedom, and when you reach that point, I guarantee that you will start thinking about your real purpose in life. And no, it's not the accumulation of wealth. So let's start with the why before we get to the what and end up with the value part. Let's get started. Why? In the US, the average savings rate is around 3%, and the average American has a less than $1,000 saved up. Most Americans have no savings at all. Almost 50% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck and could get financially wiped out by a simple car problem or a home appliance breaking. Imagine the stress and anxiety, constantly having to worry about when the next problem occurs that will put you in even deeper debt. It feels like swimming in the sea with weights around your ankles and you're slowly running out of energy. And then, sometimes, someone drops another weight on you. That's no bueno. We need to fix this fast. I will give you my simple recipe for achieving financial independence, and I am the poster boy for the success it can bring, and that it is really simple and possible. All you need to do is follow the simple steps, and I do mean follow. Don't skimp out on any part. And the most important part is consistency.
So if you were to go to the gym, right? It's like exercise, right? If you go to the gym and you work out and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing. And if you go to the gym the next day and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing, right? So clearly there's no results, can't be measured, it must not be effective. So we quit, right? Or if you fundamentally believe that this is the right course of action and you stick with it, you commit yourself to the regime, the exercise. You can screw it up, you can eat chocolate cake one day, you can skip a day or two, you know, it allows for that. But if you stick with it consistently, I'm not exactly sure what day, but I know you'll start getting into shape. I know it. And the same with the relationship. It's not about the events. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency.
This brings us to the what. What can I do? I'm hopeless in debt. I can't seem to get out. I'm slowly drowning. As you probably heard before, the only way to eat an elephant is in small bites. My recipe is not special, and it's probably why it works so well. as it's really just common sense put in a prioritized list. It's fairly easy to follow, so here goes. Step 1. No matter what your situation is, you need to have a security buffer. This is key to get you started, so you don't get killed by some unforeseen expense. This so-called emergency fund should be at least $1,000 to begin with. And no, it's only to be used for an emergency, not for gambling, not to invest, not for the shiny new watch or any other idea you might have. It's only for real emergencies.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Eventually, this emergency fund should be increased to cover at least 3 to 6 months of basic expenses, preferably 6 to 8 months. And yes, I know that's a lot, but again, trust me on this one. You will eventually need at least some of that money for an emergency. I love the quote from Franz Kafka. It's better to have and not need than to need and not have. When you have this security buffer, it's almost what we call fuck you money. Gives you the freedom to do whatever you want.
And what's the point of having fuck you money if you never say fuck you?
Have that buffer sitting in an account that earns you around 4 to 5% interest a year. Don't invest it. Step 2. Create a budget. Yes, I know, that's hard work and it's extremely boring.
Boring.
But it will open your eyes to all those little things that you didn't even know you were spending money on. The lifestyle creep that you've gotten used to. There are a lot of good templates on the internet. Some even have great apps for it. I used a simple approach. I downloaded my last 2 years' bank statement in Excel. I went through it line by line, using filters and pivot. I was very surprised to see all the stupid items that I really didn't need to spend money on. Just one item was McDonald's spending. What? It turns out I was spending almost $1,800 a year at McDonald's? What? Just sometimes getting an Egg McMuffin in the morning, maybe a cup of coffee. That had to be stopped. And now I only use the app and only the coupon stuff. And remember, I have 2 kids. This is what you have to do with every line of spending that is reoccurring. Make it lower or remove it completely. I also had free streaming services. No more. 1 streaming service should be enough. And then I switch between them when they have a promotion. I switched to Disney Plus when they had a 50% off for a year subscription. And now we switch to another because they were 50% off for a year. So make that budget and cut as hard and deep as you can. Remember, it's necessary to get that compounding going. Step 3. Get out of debt. Yes, it's that simple. And no, don't try to get smart and calculate interest rates and durations, etc. As Dave Ramsey says, this is not a math problem. If it was a math problem, you would not be in this situation. Just do as Dave Ramsey says. Attack the smallest ones first and attack them with a vengeance. This means using everything you can afford to pay them down, one by one, fast. This will give you a feeling of accomplishment and will reduce your worries instantly. And you suddenly have more money to attack the next debt item. The only debt that is really okay is your mortgage. And when that's the only one left, you can start investing. And even then, I still recommend you to pay your loan off faster than expected. I went from a 30-year mortgage to a 10-year mortgage, and that saving in interest and fees was over $785,000. Are you kidding me? Imagine that. I would have lost almost $800K just because I wasn't ready to sacrifice a new shiny car or a long vacation for some years. I finally decided I could pay it all off in 10 to 12 years, and when that mortgage was gone, wow! The level of satisfaction and accomplishment. Not to mention that the burden has disappeared. No one can tell me what to do anymore. I owe nothing. Nothing and no one.
I have no debt. 0. And every time my credit card comes in every month, every cent is paid off because I live in fear of debt. I didn't get to bankruptcy, but I got very close and it scared the living shit out of me.
I don't have any large expenses anymore, unless I decide to have them. That's just fantastic. The real hard work is in the beginning, and why it's so important to give it all you got as fast as you can. Imagine getting 10% gains a year on $1,000. That's only $100. Now imagine 10% on 100,000, or maybe even 10% on $1 million every year. That's what compound interest does. It compounds exponentially. That's why you need to get started ASAP. If you invested $1,000 in the S&P 500 at the age of 20 and assume a 10% compound annual growth, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but over time the average is around 10 to 11% in the S&P 500. So those $1,000 and never invest again, never touch them, they would be around $45,000 at the age of 60. But if you could only manage to put in $50 a month, that should be no problem, especially over that time period. You would end up with almost $311,000 in that account. So let's say you could put in $500 a month. The end result would be a staggering $2.7 million. So now you could manage with doing this for only 30 years to become a millionaire.
Wow, you blow my mind.
I did it in 10 years. But I also went extremely frugal in at least 5 of those years, so I could invest over 50% of my income every year. But the point here, you need to start investing ASAP. I have seen and worked with a lot of people who follow the herd and invest when things go up and sell in fear when things go down. I see a lot of people trying to be smart, buying the hot new stuff, selling at all-time high, buy the same back when it falls. These are not viable strategies. They might work sometime, but you need to be able to invest for 20, 30, 40 years. And at that time frame, the odds of speculating is almost zero. And you would also need to spend a lot of time and energy doing it. There's a reason why Warren Buffett says you should invest everything in the S&P 500. Keep it simple, maximize your chances of winning with little to no effort.
I like this one.
But listen to the common mistakes so you can avoid them. It is really hard not trying to keep up with the Joneses. Sometimes it looks like everyone else is being rich and doing all the things you want to. But trust me on this one. Usually they're using debt, and if not, they're probably struggling financially. Believe you me. I know a lot of these people, and I see them stressing over the simplest things. A car repair, another unforeseen expense. They almost have a constant state of stress. I, on the other hand, I have my nice emergency fund, which can cover all my basic expenses for at least 6 months, and I'm planning to increase it to cover a full year. It's placed in a high-yield liquid savings account, giving me almost 5% interest. And yes, I know they could have been invested, giving me a lot more, but then the point of the fund is gone.
Your emergency fund is insurance. You know what insurance does? It costs you money. It doesn't make you money. Why do you buy insurance if it costs you money? Because it covers your butt when things go bad. That's what your emergency fund is for. It covers your butt when things go bad.
Now, it is the best insurance I ever had. Nothing can shake my confidence. I have the ability to manage almost anything that can happen financially. And this gives me a huge confidence boost, and I sleep very well at night. You need to find your own personal balance between saving for the future and spending for today. You need to find what works for you, because it's going to be you doing it. And remember, nothing is more important than your own freedom and happiness. I actually once heard a parable I really liked. Here goes. The monk and the minister. 2 close boyhood friends grew up and went their separate ways. One became a humble monk, the other a rich and powerful minister to the king. Years later, they met. As they catch up, the fine minister, in his fine robes, takes pity on the thin and shabby monk. Seeking to help, he says, "You know, if you could learn to cater to the king, you wouldn't have to live on rice and beans." To which the monk replies, "If you could learn to live on rice and beans, you wouldn't have to cater to the king." Most of us fall somewhere between the two. As for me, it's much better to be closer to the monk as I want to determine the path of my life. I hope this inspired you to hit the like button, and thanks for watching the video to the end. And always remember, the best investment you can do is in you. The more you learn, the more you earn. Bye.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the ninth inning. There ain't no point in resisting.